Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some planets. It's probably the simplest thing that a spray paint artist can do, but a lot of people get this wrong, so I'm going to make some demonstrations of some different ways to do this. So I'll move the camera onto the paper and show you my entire process from end to end. So first of all, I place my lids, which are going to represent the planets, into the place where I want them to be, and I'm just going to create a simple outline as to where I want those to be. As I've said before in other videos, it's always good to clean off your spray cans before you start, so you're starting with a clean spray. So this is me using the palette knife to chip away a little bit of paint that was left on the canister the last time I was painting. For these ones, I'm simply using two colors today. I'm using yellow and red on these two planets. And I'm just going to use green and a lighter green on these two planets. And I'm going to demonstrate how effective you can make these with as few colors as possible. I'm just going to use black and white as always. To create the shadows. And the light source. And here's my trusty newspapers. For this one, I'm going to fold it over into quarters. And then again, and then again, and then again. And the reason I do this is because I want to create a star burst effect. This will hopefully make sense in a moment. When I open this up, see the star effect in the newspaper. And when I put that on top of the paint, just do a simple smear. That's what I get underneath. For this one, I'm simply going to take the paper, crinkle it up, open it up, and do exactly the same thing here. Just lay it on the paper, tear it away. And for the last one, I'm going to fold the paper over a couple of times to quarters, and I'm going to smear it, because this creates a good effect too. So at this point, you've got 4 planets in motion. I might add a little bit more white to this one, just to give it some accent. A little more black over here on this one, to really accentuate that shadow. Do the same here, same here. I'm not going to touch that one. And I'm going to let this dry probably about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back to this. While I'm waiting for these to dry, I'm going to start on a couple more. Just like before, I'm going to place my lids. Do the same thing again. shape. Give you the basic outline of where your lids are going to be and where your planets are going to be. And do the same thing again. This time I'm using brown. And I think this time I'm going to use a little bit of yellow as well. You don't typically need to use a whole lot of paint for this. Here we go again with the paper. Scrunch that up. Put it over my planet. Now this time I'm going to use a smearing technique where I come in from the side, like this. It gives a nice circular pattern. For the middle one, I'm going to use the paper, the plastic bag. It's my favorite technique. I love the pattern that the plastic bag gives me. And the last one, I'm going to do the star effect once again. Didn't come out quite as well as I wanted it to, so give it another little coat of white there. Maybe a little more black. Let's go ahead and use the other side. Much better. Now don't be afraid to redo a surface area if you feel like it hasn't done what it is you wanted it to do or gotten the effect that you wanted. Just keep trying and eventually you'll get where you want to be. But remember, when you start applying the lids and put the background on, these are going to look pretty good. So let's have some patience with it. Okay, this is starting to get dry. I'm going to apply a little different technique on this one. In the center of that star, I'm going to spray a little bit of white. And I'm going to lift it off with my palette knife. There you go. A little spot in the middle of that star, which will create a nice effect. Now, one thing worth mentioning is if you live in a warm climate, this will usually dry a lot faster than it will if you live in a cold climate. I'm in Washington State, it's the middle of November, and so it takes a little longer to dry because it's pretty cold out here. It's about 40, 45 degrees. So to accelerate the drying process, I'm just going to do a little bit of a fire technique to dry it up. That doesn't do any harm to your paint whatsoever, but it dries it a little bit faster than if you left it to air dry. So now that's dry, I'm just going to replace my lids. And then I'm going to do the background. So we'll grab just the black. And we're going to accentuate this with a little bit of green as well. And a touch of the yellow. And then I'm going to go over it with the black. Create that nice space effect. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you'll know it's important that these templates that you're using here, these lids, have very thin rims, because thin rims will help to stick to the paper and create a nice effect when you remove them. If you use thick rims, then often you get a big thick line coming off of them. Just to hold those down, I'm going to put some rocks on top, just to give them a little weight. Probably should have done that before I applied the paint, but there we go. And then I'm going to create the star effect, which is really pretty simple in itself. Just clean that nozzle once again. I always do that away from me so that the spray doesn't come back at me. And then a little thicker with the larger stars. Simply spray a tiny little bit of paint onto my fingers and I flick it onto the paint. Creates a nice effect. And that's another reason to use gloves while you're doing this, because when you do those star effects, you will get some paint on your hands. And it's good to get that paint thinner and just wipe it off. I just added a splattering of red over there and a little bit of green over there just to accentuate it a little bit more. But now it's basically done, and I'm going to lift off the rocks gently while holding down the lids. And then I'm going to start lifting off the lids. Let's see what we've got. And there you go. 4 nicely colored planets with different accents and different styles. This is more plain. This has the star effect. This came out really nice in terms of its textures, and this was the smear, if you remember. So that's it. I'm gonna let that dry and I'll go grab the other one. So just as before, I'm gonna place a little dot in the middle of this. Spray that real quick. Carefully peel that off. A little spot in the middle of the paint. In fact, I don't really like that much, so I'm gonna spot that out with my finger. It should just enhance the effect. Yeah, not bad. And now, just as before, I'm gonna place my lids in the spot where I want them. And apply the black as before. Give it a good shake. And off we go again. Make sure to get a nice cover. And I forgot to put my rocks there just to keep them down. And then once I've done that, with the paints, I can go back over the rest of the painting. I'm going to let that dry. So I'll give that about 20 minutes and I'll come back. Get some matte added effect. I'm going to spray some red through this one. thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, submit your comments, and I'll take your questions and respond to them as fast as possible. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and I'll be making more videos soon. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.